Hi, I'm Vic,
And I'm DJ,
and
and this
this
is
is
Adventures
Adventures with
with
Vic
Vic and
and DJ.
DJ.
Good morning. We are actually on day 3 in Bangkok, day full 3 in Bangkok. We've kind of been enjoying our time and haven't made a video, so we thought before we headed out today, we would just take a few moments and recap the last few days for us. So, DJ wanted to start off by talking about the bus ride. What's where we left you off was that we were getting ready to load up on a bus and head from Pattaya to Bangkok. So, what did you think of the bus, DJ?
It was as inexpensive as advertised, so it was about $7, I believe, under $7 for both. And it was 2 hours here, under
Two and a
two,
half
two and a
hours.
half. So did I love it? I wouldn't say loved. Did I like it for the price? Oh yeah.
Yes,
So
definitely a good price. I mean, the saying is you get what you pay for. So, it was, I mean, there was air conditioning on the bus, so that was fine. I'm not a big smell person, and it smelled funky, so I had my little Vicks inhaler and I was sniffing on that quite a bit. I actually sprayed a different spray as well, just to kind of help me a little bit. It just smelled like a lot of herbs and spices that was sitting in the hot sun. It reminded me of when I accidentally left the spices in my car
oh
from when we moved.
yeah.
So it just was a very pungent smell, and that was a little frustrating. It was a tight squeeze. We are a little bit bigger of people, so sitting in those seats, it was a little bit of a tight squeeze. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it wasn't for, it's not like a 13 and a half hour flight over the ocean. It's just a 2 hour, 2.5 hour bus ride. Uncomfortable a little bit, but overall the trip went pretty fast, pretty painless. Yeah, we went from North Pattaya to Ekamai Station here, and then we just brought a Bolt over, which Bolt in Bangkok, it was extremely busy when we showed up, so we did have to pay. It's about $6, so it cost almost the same to get from Ekamai to our hotel. But since then, we've been jumping trains.
Yeah.
The train system, we haven't gone super far or anything, but the couple times we've been on it has been pretty easy to use.
Yeah.
They do have a really good metro system here. That's about $2 a time to go, which it's it isn't as inexpensive as I thought it would be because bolts are only usually $3 or $4, but
Yeah.
it is super convenient compared to it's a lot of traffic in Bangkok.
Yeah. The one thing I would say so far is they do speak a lot better English.
Hmm.
Obviously, Bangkok is about 10 to somewhere between 10 and 14 million. We've kind of had a couple of things going back and forth, but a lot of people in a big city.
Hmm.
And so it's very congested, very busy. Unlike any, I kind of said this in Tokyo as well. There's a lot of buildings, as you can kind of see. We're sitting in our hotel room. We're on the 28th floor of the Crown Plaza, so definitely up there. We have a really good view into Lumpini Park, and yeah. So when we got here, our first day, we decided to meet up with DJ's cousin, Kelly, and her husband. And we thought we were going farther than we needed to, but it was literally just right down the corner and around the block. And
Hmm.
had some supper with them and got to visit with them. We haven't seen them in a
Oh yeah, we can't remember. It was 8 or 10 years
yeah.
probably. So, yeah, they live here full time. They're missionaries, and they have adopted 2 kids. So it was great to catch up. And then that was our first time meeting the kids, Oak and Ada, and so that was pretty neat first night experience here. Then the next morning we woke up and we went and we rode the train down and we jumped on what's called the hop on hop off boat, or the Bangkok Transit boat. I don't know, it has like 20 different names, it
Mm-hmm.
felt like, but it was a pretty easy process. It was 150 baht each for the day, which couple bucks each to ride up and down the river, and that's the most efficient travel in Bangkok, you thought, right?
Absolutely. Yes, it was congested. There was a lot of boats, but you weren't sitting and waiting in traffic. I think a couple of times we had to maybe wait just a tiny little bit.
Yeah.
And that was just because the boat was in front of us and we just had to wait for them to move out of the way. But we were able to go up and down. I think that boat had 16 stops that it took us to. I think we were able to knock off 6 of your places you wanted to
Yeah.
go,
Yep.
right, just from going on that hop on hop off bus or boat. And the one thing to just remember that yes, it's 150 baht per person for the full day. So that's just a couple dollars to go up and down the river all day long. Each stop, there are some places that are free, some places that do cost. So we went to a temple,
Wat Po.
Wat Po, and that cost us,
It was about 16 US dollars, I believe.
yeah,
17
it
US
was
dollars.
300 baht each.
Yep, so
Yeah, so
600 baht.
300
So
baht
I think it was
each.
about $17.
So that, and then you do have to be modest. So you have to make sure you're, wearing longer pants and having a shawl. Take that with you. And then that was a pretty cool experience. So being able to walk through there. There's a lot of
Yeah. It's
Buddhas and
known for the giant reclining Buddha. That
Yep.
one is a giant gold reclining. I mean, when I say giant, I don't know if we got how big the building was, and it's hard to describe. Even
Yeah.
we'll probably share pictures and videos out later, but
Yeah.
they don't do it justice. It's cool just to see. We also got ice cream there, a little more expensive just for a couple ice cream bars. I think we spent $5, but we were hot. It was hot. Which was a super nice part about the boat too, was you could sit up top and enjoy the uninterrupted views, or you go down and sit in the air conditioning.
Yes.
And so we did a little bit of both throughout the day. We also went to Icon Siam. It's a big giant mall here, super fancy. You walk at least where you kind of walk in at first. I was like, yeah, I don't think this is the mall for us. But then we ended up finding a drugstore and got some waters, and we needed some Tylenol for some stuff. So like that, there is different sides. There's different levels of
Bottega. You walk in and you have Bottega. You got Louis Vuitton. You've got Tiffany and Company. You've got Dolce and Gabbana. You've got all Cartier. All of these fancy brands, and the sheer amount of what they put into a mall here. You think of malls back home in the States, and it's just plain Jane. They don't go really fancy. This little cafe that we walked into had 20-foot pieces of wood that were like live edge trees, and it was just immaculate. The ceiling was immaculate. We went to the food court, and it looked like, almost like a floating river, really. Like it just was very intricate. The bathrooms were immaculate, and like just the full detail of like paintings and the uniqueness. So that was a lot of fun. We went and walked Khaosan Road?
Khaosan Road?
Khaosan.
Khaosan Road?
Yeah.
Yep.
Khaosan Road, which is another big shopping area. Had lunch there.
So a funny thing did happen while we were having lunch, and so we heard a loud noise, and we looked out front, and there was a car that had been there, and it apparently smashed into a pylon. And the road, they kind of had these pylons they could pull up to make it a walking street, and the car, like just one random one was up, and the car piled right into it, and the cops came out, and as soon as they pulled up, the bar owner, she ran out with a case of beer and put it in his passenger seat, and he pulled out and left. So if he was there to make a police report, I don't believe it happened.
No.
So it's we're not judging their culture and how they do things. In fact, I'm a huge fan of it, if we're all being honest. But it's definitely a huge shock from what you would see in the States if somebody hit something in front of a local bar in small town Iowa. The cops would not take a case of beer and leave. So it's just kind of funny to see that, and to experience that in person. But that was actually one of the best kind of little home cooked meals. It felt like it was a restaurant, but the food was really good price there at Khaosan. And then next we started off the day, we went to the palace.
Oh, the Grand Palace.
The Grand Palace, and we did not actually go in. It's 1,000 baht, which isn't out of our price range or anything, but like it just looked huge and expansive, and it was super busy. And we wanted to really enjoy the hop on, hop off boat. And like the reviews we were kind of checking online last minute were like, oh, it can take 2 to 4 hours. And we talked to some other people on the boat in the afternoon that said it was well worth it. And we haven't been, and I don't know if we'll make it. It's on our list, but it's one of those places that it sounds like you want to spend some good quality time at. And so I'm like, well, I'm not spending 1,000 baht.
And there's there is so many temples here, and they kind of all not look identical.
Yeah.
It's not that once you see one, you see them all. Thailand has a lot of different fusions of different cultures. They'll tell you this is more of a Southern Chinese or a Northern Chinese or different imperial areas and different types of architecture. But I definitely think when you kind of see one, you can get in it. They're expansive. So like you're doing a lot of walking. Like when yes, we got on a hop on, hop off bus. We did like boat. We did like 17,000 steps in less than 8 hours, just walking and going in different areas. The boat takes you to a general area. Some of the times you still have to walk a kilometer or
I think
or so to get to where you're
I
going.
think the biggest surprise, I did a ton of research, a ton of research. And this is considered their cool season. And
Yes.
I underestimated their heat. And I love heat. And it's 93, 94 degrees and it's 70 to 80% humidity and there's a ton of smog. It's warm here everywhere you go. And I don't mind sweating. You just get used to it. Victoria, I think we've talked about, she's not built for this heat, but she's
No.
being a trooper about it. But the heat does just suck, and the sun just sucks your energy out of you. So, like, we've been actually like 8, 9 o'clock every night. We're back in our hotel room, showered and laying down, like trying to cool off and just relax from the day. And it's like, you want to go back out? Like, I think tonight we're probably going to go. We just found out yesterday the largest Christmas tree in Southeast Asia is at Central World, and we can actually see it out of our window. I think we're going to have to go down there when it's lit up tonight. I don't know if we'll just pay a tuk-tuk to do that, which we have done one tuk-tuk ride already. It's a 3-wheeled hot rod machine that they throw you on, like basically a bench seat on the back. No belts, nothing. Safety is not a thing here.
And they just take off and they rip.
Yeah, and I want one that's loud, lots of lights. I mean, so we're gonna I think we're gonna do that tonight. It's on our list. Just seeing Bangkok, and like now they have electric tuk-tuks, which is great. Like, you know, I'm all about like, hey, like technology is great, let's embrace it. But there's just something about being on that gas powered. I don't know if they're V8s in those things, but they drive like they are. I mean, when I say traffic is rough, they find a hole and they hit it. They go on the other side. They don't care if they're going the wrong way. But it's just a different, crazy way to experience Bangkok. And so, you know, it's just part of it's almost like the tourists are keeping that alive.
Yeah.
But they're fun. The only problem I have with the tuk-tuks are they are to a point where you can't walk by one without being hassled. And then when you do want to go somewhere, they're trying to sell you other, like, oh, do you want to go to the floating market? Oh, you want to go to where the market with the train is, where you have to watch out for the train. Like, I'm like, hey, I'm not the type of person that should be anywhere I have to pay attention, because this is a crazy enough city that I'm, don't want to get run over in. But I don't want to be going to a market that's on train tracks. That just sounds like they say it goes slow and you couldn't get hit, but I don't know. Anyway, it's more of a tourist thing. But and not only are they going to try to sell you tickets, they're going to get you the most expensive trip you would ever take to that. So, I mean, I'm not saying that. I mean, I know they're just trying to make a living. It's almost annoying. It's a little bit of a downside that we've noticed here. Pattaya, there was definitely people pushing stuff, but like here more so, like just down the corner from our hotel. And it's turned into just kind of a joke with them, and they laugh and stuff, but like they are, you can't walk by a tuk-tuk without him trying to show you some flashcards with places to go on them and throwing out prices. And
Yeah, I would definitely say that that's been not my forte. I don't like the pushiness of things. DJ doesn't mind it. He engages with everybody, and I try to not engage. So that's just my kind of thing. So, okay, we've done hop on, hop off boat. We did dinner. So then yesterday, we spent the day with Stephen and Kelly. So we hopped on the train and went over to their place. They are 7 stops away from us on the train. So that was a short, 20-minute ride maybe on the train, not even. Again, a very efficient way to get around. And yesterday was a holiday. So it was the Constitution Day here. So schools were out. So they had the whole day off. And we were able to... DJ and I have been bike riding. That's something that we haven't really, got into here with this, but we did buy electric bikes, and we've done almost 1,000 miles on our bikes this last summer.
Each?
So each. So bike riding is something that we have really gotten into enjoy. So it was kind of something that was on our list of things that we'd love to be able to say, hey, we've gone on a bike ride in another country. And so, we went to the Green Lung is what it's called. It's a national park here in Thailand.
They call it the Green Lung. It's called Bangkok. I can't
Yeah.
say it. I'm not going to butcher these
Yep.
Thai names. I should know the name of it, but I don't. So,
And so they had
but
the
yeah, they call it the
opportunity
Green
to
Lung.
rent bikes. When we were thinking renting bikes, it was definitely not what we had in mind.
Well, I
or at
assumed
least-
like, hey, we're paying. Like they're going to have some decent choices. They had about 100 bikes, and it looked like the world's worst yard sale.
from like the 1920s, 1930s.
It was 40 baht.
style
It was
bikes.
40 baht a piece a day, which is like nothing, but is too much for these bikes. But the bikes did make it. But the one I was on was not built for a 300-pound 6-foot for wrong, which is what they call, you know.
So DJ's knees were
the
pretty
tourist.
close to the handlebars every time he was pedaling.
But yeah, we made the most of it.
We had a good time. It was a lot of
the
fun.
the kids really enjoyed it. There was you talk about super sketchy. We've done some sketchy rides on our bikes, but like these were 2-foot wide sidewalks that are about anywhere from a foot to 6 feet off the ground, maybe even like 20 feet, like at some
With
point.
trees and swamp on
Yeah,
either
like
side.
once in a while they'd put a guardrail on one side, but it's like what's the point of like it's like, oh, if you're gonna fall to the right. Like, okay, well thanks. Like I'm glad they but like it wouldn't have cost them that much to put a guardrail.
And these
on
were
both
people's,
sides.
like, these were how people got to their houses.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like this was like a trail system. This was legitimately like technical roads to people's houses. We got off on one. It was even on like Google Maps shows it as a route to take. And so we're taking it, trying to go to a coffee shop, and it tells us to take a left. So we go left, and it was not a road.
No.
It led us to some Thai person's house. So we had to turn around and go back. And eventually we got to where we were going.
Yeah. No. So no, that was super fun. And we went out for dinner with them last night. This morning we got up, we had breakfast. The hotel here, the Crown Plaza, has been just phenomenal.
Yeah.
We'll probably talk more about that later. We're actually headed to Mahanakan Tower, which is probably number 1 on my list. So we're going to share more about that when we get back from, probably not today, but in the next couple days before we take off. We're here till Friday morning. So probably do a video Thursday and share that out so everybody can keep up with us.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us today. And until next time, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.